What's up, all my folks out in YouTube land? Daryl, also known as the Finisher. I'm back, y'all. Perfect picture frame molding. That's what I'm working on today. I worked in this house plenty of times. I did a video doing crown in this house. I did the crown in this room. Um, so I'm very familiar with just working in this house. You see my setup, 2 platforms. Well, 3 platforms, actually. I use that little platform to get to the big platform. Right now, I'm just using my blocks because I'm spacing it. It's going to be 6 inches from the side walls in between each picture frame, and 4 inches from the top, from the crown, and 4 inches from the baseboard. So that's where I'm setting it. I use a laser, but just for the guidance of the first initial piece. After that, then if you got good levels, there's not really, lasers aren't really necessary. Okay. All right, but you got to get precision cuts. That's the whole thing, and they have to be repetitive cuts, and they have to be precise. So what I do, one of the things that I do is I set up a stop block. Now I'll show you how to do this in detail a little bit later, but essentially you can see right now I cut one side to get it, cut at the angle where I need it, at 45 or whatever. And right now the length is not really important. I just want the right side cut at 45. The left side is, as long as it's a little longer than it's supposed to be, it's fine. But I love precision jobs, man. I like jobs like this that require precision. The job that you see once you're finished. You can't hide. There ain't no hiding. It's either like, it either looks good or it looks like hot garbage, and that's always the work that I enjoy. So that kind of leads me into one of the things I wanted to talk about today, which is, it's just the artist or the technician. It's kind of like, which one are you? Now, I'm realistic. Oh, and also in this video right now, I'm real ridiculous with the laser, y'all. So I have the laser to where it's running on and off. I split the line with the piece of wood, with the trim. So anyway, and also usually glue the corners, usually with some tight bond or CA glue, and I use pinch dogs to get those corners tight. All right. Now, I'm not a trim carpenter. I can do stuff like this. I can do crown. I can do there's a lot of trim work I've done, and I can do accent walls and everything else. But I know I'm not, an artist with it. As much as I'm very precise, and that's good. But I know I'm not an artist. Especially when I go into some of those houses and I see stained grade trim work. It's just, could I do it? Possibly, but it's very intimidating. I see some of the woodwork these guys are doing, some of this artistry, and just how, technical it is. But there's a difference. Tile used to be something I used to love doing when I first started out, and I thought that was going to be a big part of my business was tile. And I do a good amount of tile. I do my fair share, but I'd be crazy if I was to think that, go on Instagram, and got Carl Leonard, go check out his tile, Flash, or check out HUD's tile. I mean, some of the tile work these guys are doing, it's just, it make you want to just, take your tile saw and throw it in the garbage, I mean, I'm not. I'm still gonna get mine in. But you see, like, these guys start doing scribe tile jobs and stuff, and it's just like, how, how, Sway? How y'all doing that? It's pure artistry. I mean, I know I'm a technician, and I'm cool with that. And I feel like that's what most handymen are. They are some of the absolute greatest technicians. And I feel like that, a lot of people that do other trades, they focus on it, especially the ones that focus on it all the time, that just do what they do. They are absolute great artists. You know what I mean? I feel like the technical side, though, we can all do the technical side. And if you're really good, you can get good at the precision part of the technical side. So you're not just, throwing shark bites at plumbing leaks, but you're actually taking the time to do things properly. So it's all part of it, man, but I love it. All right, here's the part of the video where I show you how I make my stop block. This is the JawStand by Rockwell. I'm not sure how many are you familiar, but it is one of my absolute favorite tools. It holds stock. I'm not sure the sizes. You can see mine's rusty. It comes with me everywhere. I mean, I use it to offload material when I'm using a table saw. Like, it does so many functions that I think it's one of the best tools that I have. So in this situation, I use it to hold the wood, so I can set the wood, set a stop block, set it at a certain distance, and it's heavy enough that it's not gonna move. I mean, if you move it when you put the wood against it, that's an error. That's a user error. All right. So I have a piece of wood that's cut. I cut one piece of wood precisely to the exact size that I need. All right. Take that piece of wood, put it against the blade. All right, push that over to the blade, and not forcing it, just where it's touching the blade. The other piece of wood is, the other end is over by the by my stop block, or when I'm using on my stop block. So then I scoot it over, but I only do it to where it just barely kisses it. So you don't want it to be there where the piece of wood is leaning against it and it's shoving it into the blade. That's gonna make it too short. So you want it to just barely be touching. All right, so I could, like right now, if I want, I just moved it right then, I could lift it up out of there easily. So it's not, if I lift the blade up, it's not gonna happen. If I lift the blade up, then it's gonna go shooting out. All right, and that's it. It's that. So I'm gonna cut one to show you an example of just how dead on precise it is, and like I said, just don't. If the question is, what if the stop block gets moved? It's just, my answer is don't. How about that? Don't move. It's a very simple thing. Don't move. So look at that. I'm just touching it. Just touching it. As soon as I get it there, hold it in place. Boom. It's that simple. Now I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna put it with the piece I originally cut. Hold them together. You can see how precise, how exact it is. And look, see those ends? That end, exact. That end, exact. You can't get any more precise than that. All right. Now I'm just cutting some more pieces. So we're just gonna finish up. And I love it. Now these types of things are things that I just figured out over time. Like, to get to a job, I don't have an elaborate setup, so it's like I need to make just as accurate cuts though. So how can I do it? Well, this is what I found out, and this is something I call the art of figuring things out. Now look, I take all the pieces that I cut, put them all together, just so you can see how on point these are. Now they're touching the ground to make them flat. And now look at that, lean it back. Oh man, it's like a table. I know, look at you, man. I know what you're doing. All right, so once you get the pieces cut precise, it's just kind of a repetitive thing. Like I said, I just, after that, I don't really have to use the laser level anymore, and I'm just putting the wood up, put a little glue. I keep the glue in my pocket, put it on there, and then after I'm done putting that on, put pinch dogs up there, and just keep going. But it's part of what I call the art of figuring things out. You know, like I told you, I wasn't trained on this stuff. I didn't know, but you go out to these places and you figure it out. You figure it out, man. And figuring things out is a muscle. It's not something that just comes natural all the time. It's the muscle that you have to train. And unfortunately, you know, it's not anybody's fault that now we're in the digital age, man. And you know, so things in our physical world, people don't have to figure it out as often anymore because they feel like they can just go find out, watch a video, or go, you know, everything's so digital. If you think about it, you know, I was a kid in the 80s where everybody was a bike surgeon. You know what I mean? Like everybody was a bike surgeon. You know, you didn't have time to go. If you blew a hole in your inner tube, what'd you have to? You just gonna go home for the day? No, if you have the money in your pocket, you go buy an inner tube and put that new inner tube in, or just buy a patch kit. We all knew how to do it. Everybody. And it was just like stuff you learn outside, just going places and being outside. And they just, you know, a lot of kids aren't growing up with that anymore. You know, a lot of things are done online, man. I remember, you think about Nintendo games. When the system wouldn't work, I don't know who the kid was. Somebody needs to get that dude a medal. The kid that figured out that if you blow on the cartridge, then you can put it in there. Or if you put it into the cartridge into the system right in the front, all the way to the front and push down, like, and it rubbed against the front, then the game would play. If you wouldn't, when it pushed it all the way back, it wouldn't play. I don't know. People just figure stuff out. So that's half of what I do. I think the biggest part of our business is figuring things out. And that really goes for any trade, but especially for us, because we have to be able to look at so many different things as far as, you know, plumbing issues you might run into, electrical issues you might run into, all kind of drywall, paint issues you might run into. We got to be able to figure that out. And I'll be having some videos coming up talking about figuring things out and how I go about it. Maybe, you know, what's the process? One of the biggest things you're going to have to do is immerse yourself in the material that regarding whatever it is that you're doing. And one way to do that is to go and watch these videos. I mean, look, they say only 5 to 10% of the people out there like really, really care about the work that they're doing or how good they are at it. And it shows just the fact that people are, you know, watching this video. You know, I've watched other people's videos. I'm one of you. I told you, you know, I do the same thing. So it's a very small amount of people who are willing to, you know, sacrifice their time. And I learned a lot about tile. I would go to workshops with the NTCA, I think is what it is. They have free tile workshops. I just go and learn, you know, and why not? Not be the only person from my area. I'd definitely be the only handyman there. I think, you know, more people should think about that kind of stuff, man. We're stepping it up now. Like I said, if we want this to be a respected profession, we need to be technicians at this. All right. Now, in order not to bore you, you see the process of this. Once you start going, it just kind of it's kind of repetitive. So I'm gonna show you the end result. Boom. This is after it was painted. Everything. Man, it came out beautiful. Also threw up a little Sputnik light in there that kind of just adds that little you know, gives it that flair. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, this whole room. And look at them corners, man. I told you, you gotta show and prove. Some of these pictures look good on the internet, and you get there in person, you like, what happened? Nah, corners gotta be tight. So, hey, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you like this, man, watch this video over here, man. You're gonna love that too. All right? Stay safe and be blessed.